Story: The Penguin and the Sea Waves. Once upon a time, on a cold icy shore, there lived a little penguin who never dared to swim into the sea. He stood by the edge, watching the rolling waves, and sighed. He said to the waves, "You are frightening, strong and cold. I fear I will drown and never return." The waves chuckled softly, "If you never try, you will never know that you were made for this." One day, the penguin saw his friends diving happily, catching fish with ease. His heart longed to join them, but fear still held him back. At last, he stepped into the water. The first wave chilled him, but he did not fall. He dove beneath and discovered his body moved gracefully, as if the sea was his true home. The penguin laughed aloud, "I was never meant to fear the waves. I was born to swim with them." From then on, he no longer stood frozen on the shore. He became one of the bravest swimmers of all. Moral of the story: this story teaches us that what we fear most may be the very thing we are meant to embrace and grow from. Story: The Owl and the Firefly. Once upon a time, in a quiet dark forest, a wise old owl perched high on a branch, watching the night. One evening, he noticed a tiny light flickering in the darkness. It was a little firefly, glowing as it flew about. The owl asked, "Little one, why do you tire yourself, shining your light in such a vast forest?" The firefly smiled and replied, "Because even though I am small, the darkness is less empty when I share my light." The owl nodded but thought the light too small to matter. That very night, a storm struck. Branches snapped, winds howled, and clouds hid the moon. The forest was plunged into pitch darkness. Yet the firefly kept flying, guiding small creatures to safety with its glow. Even the owl followed the tiny light and found refuge from the storm. When it was over, the owl said gently, "Now I see even the smallest light can bring hope in the darkest times." From then on, the owl never underestimated the firefly again. Moral of the story: this story teaches us that no matter how small we seem, our efforts can shine brightly in someone's darkest moment. Story: The Ladybug and the Rainbow. Once upon a time, in a meadow full of colorful flowers, there lived a little ladybug with bright red wings dotted with black spots. The ladybug often felt too small. When she saw butterflies flutter gracefully or birds soaring in the sky, she sighed. "I will never be as beautiful or grand as they are." One day, soft rain fell across the meadow. Animals hid beneath leaves and trees, while the ladybug rested under a flower petal. When the rain stopped, sunlight broke through, and a rainbow stretched across the sky. The ladybug gazed in awe. "How wonderful, yet far beyond my reach." Then, the sun's rays touched her tiny wings. Her red wings glimmered with rainbow-like sparkles. A butterfly passing by said, "Do you know? Even though you're small, your wings shine as beautifully as the rainbow." The ladybug smiled with tears of joy. She realized she didn't need to be like anyone else. By being herself, she could bring beauty to the world. Moral of the story: this story teaches us that we don't need to compare ourselves to others. Even the smallest of us can bring great beauty. Story: The Sheep and the Mist. Once upon a time, on a quiet hill, there lived a fluffy little sheep. Every morning, the hill was covered in thick white mist. The sheep often felt afraid, unable to see the path ahead. He cried to the mist, "You make me blind to the way forward. I'm afraid of getting lost." The mist whispered, "Do not be afraid. I am here to teach you to walk step by step." The sheep didn't quite understand, but continued slowly, carefully placing each step. As the mist began to fade, he realized he had reached the top of the hill. From there, he saw wide fields, flowers, and a sky more beautiful than he had ever imagined. Smiling, he said, "Without the mist, I might have rushed too fast and missed the beauty along the way." From then on, the sheep no longer feared the mist, for he knew it was a gentle guide teaching him patience. Moral of the story: this story teaches us that obstacles or things that obscure our vision may be guides, helping us move carefully and appreciate the journey. Story: The Fish and the Moonlight. Once upon a time, in a quiet pond, there lived a little fish. Every night, he swam near the surface and gazed at the glowing reflection of the moon. He whispered to himself, "How wonderful! If only I could own the moon, I would be the happiest fish in the world." Night after night, the fish leapt, trying to catch the moon. But each time, the shimmering light broke apart in the ripples. Other creatures laughed at him. "Foolish fish, you can never reach the moon." Yet still, he would not give up. One day, a kind crane passed by and said, "Little fish, the moon is not meant to be owned. It shines for the whole world. Some beauty exists because it is out of reach." The fish grew silent, gazing at the moon again. He realized that though he could never have it, he could admire it every night. From then on, he no longer tried to grasp the moon. Instead, he swam happily beneath its gentle glow. Moral of the story: this story teaches us that not everything beautiful is meant to be owned, some things are meant to be cherished from afar. Story: The Parrot and the Silence. Once upon a time, there was a beautiful parrot in the forest, known for being the loudest and most talkative of all. He mimicked the voices of animals and laughed noisily all day. Many creatures grew annoyed but kept silent. One day, a wise old owl said, "You chatter so much that you never hear the world around you." The parrot scoffed, "Why should I? My voice is the finest of all." That night, a storm raged. The wind howled, and trees creaked. The parrot kept talking loudly, not noticing the cracking branch above him. Just before it fell, the owl cried out, warning him. The parrot froze, realizing he could have been crushed. For the first time, he sat quietly and listened. He heard the wind, the rain, the rustling leaves, all carrying messages of the world. From then on, the parrot no longer chattered endlessly. He still sang, but also valued silence and the voices of others. Moral of the story: this story teaches us that listening is as important as speaking, and silence can reveal wisdom.